So Tracy, how did you come to work on the Sonic comics?
Well, the short story is that a friend of mine, we did our own comics and we would come to these kind of shows, and I met an acquaintance from SCAD who knew Mike Pellerino, who was the editor at the time on the Archie books. But this fellow saw some drawings I was doing, and he said that I would be good for the Sonic books because they were just about to come out with Sonic X at that time. So he put me in touch with Mike, and I sent him some samples, and he let me do some sample scripts that Ian had just written, and he liked that. So then I got the chance to do issues 160 and 161 on the regular Sonic series, and he liked that so much I just kept going. So yeah, what I always tell kids whenever I talk about how to get into the comic business is I did the work beforehand. I did comics so I could prove that I knew how to draw comics, and then I had those connections, so networking and doing the work ahead of time. That way, when an opportunity shows up, you'll have proof to show that you know how to do it.
So Ian, how did you come to work on the Sonic comics?
I was in university pursuing my English degree and figured I'm going to need a job when I graduate. And English degrees don't really go beyond burger flipping. So I know how to write, and I like the Sonic comics. I want to write for the Sonic comics. So I put together some improvised scripts, got a resume written up, got a few letters of recommendation from professors, and for 4 years just sent in my application to Archie. And on the 4th year, I actually got a response, which was from the new editor who said, "You're not bad. Let's put you through a couple of easy tests, gather some information, put some documents together." So you better believe I did those overnight. It's like, look how fast and good I am! And that impressed him. He showed me how to actually write the script, how to actually write 4 comics. And within 5 months, I was lead writer for the book.
If you remember, what has been your favorite Sonic-related story that you have worked on?
One of my favorites all time is the ones that I did not write myself. It was early on, the Order from Chaos 2-parter. I liked that a lot. It was a really fun story. I got to design that Adam, Tommy character.
Yeah.
And Ian had brought all those Chaos Emeralds in, and had Super Sonic and Super Tails and Super Knuckles and Shadow. So it was pretty cool. There was a whole lot of stuff going on in just 2 issues. It was a lot of fun. And, I think that was where I also really hit my stride with the art.
Yeah.
The issues before that were fine, but I really hadn't got quite a handle on things yet. So those are some of my very favorites. And then of course I did those. Probably of the stuff that I've written myself, the 4-parter with Babylon Rogues. I think that turned out pretty well overall. I was pretty pleased with it. I wish I'd had maybe 4 or 5 more pages. I could have thrown in a nice chase, action sequence at the end of the last issue, but it just wasn't room. So, but yeah, those are some of my favorites.
What has been your favorite Sonic-related story that you have worked on so far? And if I wouldn't mind extending that to also Mega Man as well, the awesome Archie Mega Man.
2 of my favorites in the Sonic book would be Order from Chaos, where we rectify the multiple Chaos Emerald issue. That story in particular, I just felt like everything came together perfectly. It told the story exactly how I wanted it told. Tracy Yardley's art was absolutely amazing because it's Tracy Yardley, and just everything really clicked. Another one which I know is a fan favorite is Thicker Than Water.
Oh yeah.
Which gets into Bunny's backstory a little bit, and we play on the trope of the hero versus hero thing, where it starts off with it. They very quickly realize that they shouldn't be at odds, and then they turn that trope of a fight into their plan to win. And it's by Ben Bates, who's just freaking amazing, so of course it looked gorgeous. For Mega Man, I guess in terms of big stories, Ra Moon came together really well, or Blackout, sorry. But
both of the 2 arcs next to each other?
Yeah. But the one that came together the best was Prototype, the Proto Man origin story. I love Chad Thomas's art. I wish I could work with him more. I was thrilled that I got to work with him on Young Salem, and just everything in that story fell into place. It had the feels, man. And I think that set the bar that I keep reaching for every time after that. I think we kind of reached it in the 2-part story where Mega Man is dealing with the trauma of fighting Raw Moon, and Breakman confronts Tempo over her own.
I love that. That was
I think that story works so well because of Prototype, because you see the anger there, and you see why it's with Tempo, and again that was Tyson Hess.
Yeah.
Another guy I friggin' adore, and it's just I love this business. I get to write these things, and then talented people make it look so pretty. And I'm playing piano on the table for some reason.
Was it hard going from doing pencils to doing scripts and pencils?
Not really. I mean, like most of the work that I do, when I write a story, I do most of it in my head. And you write out the outline. And actually, physically, like the time it takes to physically write it out isn't all that much. 2 or 3, 4, and 5 days tops.
Yeah.
How complicated or difficult it might be. But, you compare that to 2 or 3 weeks to draw a comic, so it's not nearly as time consuming as far as physical labor goes.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes on. It's work still. But visual storytelling for me, I think visually, so it's not all that different. It's just me telling you what's happening instead of drawing what's happening. So it didn't require a big shift. And I could do both basically at the same time. In both instances where I would write an arc for Universe, I ended up not drawing the next arc because we get a little behind. First time that was because I was doing the story for Babylon. Was it Babylon Rising?
Yep.
Was the name of the story. I was writing the story and I did the pencils for that. And I was also working on the Genesis story at the same time too, so I was doing like 2 things at once. And so that got us pretty far behind, so I didn't do the next arc after that. And then the next time was the Blaze the Cat story. Again, we didn't have as much lead time at that point, so I figured it was better to let somebody else do the next arc rather than trying to keep cramming everything too tight for everybody else that comes after me.
Yeah.
How is it different to work on like a Sonic book, a Mega Man book, than a New Crusaders or anything else that you've worked on?
Sonic, I guess, has an inherent sense of energy. He's so high velocity. He's always moving. He's always thinking. You don't really have a lot of downtime. Where Mega Man is action-oriented, but in a different sense, I guess. Stop messing with this table. It's more thoughtful, I suppose. Maybe that's coming from me being so bad at Mega Man games and having to measure every single little jump and shot. But I think it's a little more deliberate next to Sonic, who is
Philosophical.
Yeah, I guess. Since Sonic is kind of like smash robot with face, move, and Mega Man is more target aim fire. I guess those inherent gameplay elements affect the narrative. Whereas New Crusaders is a superhero book which went from kind of all ages to really dark, really fast. And I don't know if you had a chance to read Dark Tomorrow.
I haven't yet.
But it's got some of that high fantasy, flashy superhero stuff, and then there's a dual flashback sequence that gets really, really dark, really fast. So it's kind of odd with New Crusaders, but it is its own beast in its own way.
Are the New Crusaders still in like the Dark Circle continuity?
Yeah, the Dark Circle and Red Circle. I don't know if Red Circle's even really
a thing anymore.
I don't know, because I haven't touched them in a while. But they are part of the shared universe. Fun fact: in the Fox, the initial run under Red Circle, it introduces a villain named Mr. Smile, who was someone I had conceptualized for the second arc of New Crusaders. But when that didn't happen, Mr. Smile moved over into Fox, and I'm incredibly jealous because I wanted to write it because it was mine.
Is there any like talks about bringing New Crusaders back if the new Shield does well or any of the Dark Circle books? Like, is there like a measure of success there that would?
Dark Tomorrow is really kind of the linchpin.
Okay.
If people download that by the scores, that gives us a chance to maybe explore New Crusaders and the Dark Circle.
Okay.
Maybe. So please read it.
It's really great.
Is there a difference? Is there a different way of approaching the Sonic comic in comparison to any other comics you've worked on?
Not really, I don't think so. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of things outside of Sonic. You know, I did those Riding Shotgun books, and do the Galaxy Man stories now. I mean, I think the style that I've developed over the years working on Sonic involves, you know, I have a lot more dynamic panel shapes and layouts and stuff, you know, than I used to. So I think that carries over into most everything else that I do now. If I were to tell any stories that were not as action oriented, like that, like Galaxy Man, again, that's mostly action, mostly over the top stuff. So I tend to draw my panels the same sort of way. But if I were to do a more down to earth type of story, I would probably back off on the crazy panel layouts and stuff. So, as far as how it compares to other books, it's hard to say. I don't think there's a big difference really.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone? I already asked. Oh, what advice would you give to someone trying to break into the comics industry?
I just answered this in another interview actually. It's kind of three things. One is persistence.
Okay.
Because it is a very small industry. It's a lot smaller than a lot of people think. And it really takes a lot of hard work and networking and getting yourself out there to even make a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Another thing is tenacity, which I guess is kind of tied into persistence. You really have to put yourself out there. Very few people can say, here's my web series.
Yeah.
And even if it's awesome, if you don't advertise it, if you don't show it to people, word of mouth is only going to get you so far. The third thing is humility. You are not God's gift to comic books. You may be great. You may be a great writer. You may be a great artist. But nobody is going to give you another look if you count yourself as the best of the best. And the minute you pitch your story and an editor says, okay, that's cool, but take that out, your head's going to explode. I mean, as my first editor, Mike Pellerito, said, kill your darlings. And it's a hard lesson, and it's one I'm still learning. But there are times when you really want that one thing to happen, and it's just not going to work in the story, and you have to get rid of it.
Is there something you can remember that really was like, oh, I wish I could have done that?
I know there is. I know there's not trying to think about. Nothing really comes to mind off the top of my head. But I know, pretty much, I remember the heart rate rising. That's how much I know. It's like, no, it's brilliant, but it's gone.
What advice would you give to someone trying to break into the industry?
Well, you go back to the first question. My biggest advice in the industry, like I said, is like come to these kind of conventions, you know, meet people, cultivate those friendships over years, possibly if it takes that long. You know, like if you talk to me or any of these other guys, if you show them your portfolio or something, and they say, well, do A, B, and C to improve your work, you ought to go home and do A, B, and C, and then come back next year and say, look, I did this. What do you think? Or, you know, if you can actually get a hold of an editor at one of these things, or, you know, if you send your stuff to an editor, if you have, you know, the miraculous luck for them to write you back, and if they give you that kind of advice, then definitely, yes, take that advice and use it. Make the changes that they ask you to do. So that's how Ian Flynn, you know, like when he did the writing, he kept bombarding stuff to Mike Pellerito. You know, Mike would give him advice and he'd take it. It took a long time, but eventually he got to the point where Mike thought he was good enough to do the job. You know, it's like come to these shows, you know, network with people. If you go to art school or something, network with other, you know, talented people. That's both with Sonic and with the Riding Shotgun. This both happened because I knew people that were, you know, had those connections and had the talent to be doing it. So if you're serious about it, and then somebody else you know gets a job, they'll say, hey, editor, I know this guy that's serious about doing this, and they'd be good for this project. So rather than that editor sifting through 5,000 submissions, they'll just take that guy's word for it and say, okay, I'll give the guy a shot. You know, it's unfortunate that it is that way, but it's, it makes sense. So then also is, you know, the biggest thing is to do your own comics. I always tell kids, start making your own comics. Don't wait for someone to pay you to do it because it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, have that comic book ready of your own idea, or you know, you can do like 10 or 15 pages of Spider-Man or Batman or whatever. to show that you know how to tell a story over, a number of pages. That way, you'll have it when that opportunity arises. You'll have it right there and say, "Look, I can do it." So of course, don't ever, don't just focus on doing one pinup of your favorite guy. Like, I like Naruto. I'm going to draw 5,000 pictures of Naruto. Well, you're never going to get a job doing comics by drawing 5,000 pictures.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to draw a story with Naruto and whatever buildings and other people and stuff that is in his world, or Sonic, all the machines and the buildings, and cars, and stuff. It's not just about drawing characters, it's about drawing the world they live in and being able to tell a story in sequence with panels. So if you can do all that to what is a professional level, then you're a lot more likely to be able to find a job. So, work to that. Don't just focus on one thing. Make sure you get the whole thing. And also, I also say, if you want to be a penciler, then focus on doing pencils. If you want to be an inker, focus on inks. If you want to be a colorist, focus on the colorist. I mean, it's good to know how to do the whole shebang. If you can, not everybody has the time to develop all those skills. So pick which one you're best at, maybe work at that. But develop that portfolio, have it ready to show whenever opportunities knock.
Well, I remember you saying that to segue. There was Thrash. You were like, we're gonna work him into the new continuity. And I remember seeing a tweet or something very recently where it's completely 180'd on it.
Well, Thrash was originally built to be a personal villain for Knuckles.
Yeah.
Who was as much a rival as more of an antagonist, not straight up villain. There were supposed to be parallels to the characters. Yeah. It would be somebody that you understand where he's coming from, but you can't quite root for him because he's doing it the wrong way.
Okay.
But at the same time, you don't feel completely on Knuckles' side because Knuckles has no sympathy for his nonsense.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a lot of nuanced gray area. And then circumstances happened where we really needed to write out a bunch of characters really quick. Thrash was going to be in the story anyway. His motivations made a certain amount of sense to tie it into it. And so he went from this morally gray character to Hitler. And it's really sad because I'd love to bring him back in. I love the design Tracy did. I'd love to recycle the character. But he comes with all that baggage.
He's tainted now.
You can't really bring him back without everyone going, "Oh boy." And here we go. So
Tasmanian Hitler.
He's not supposed to. He's Cockney, for pity's sake. But Thrash is more or less dead.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well, I just had. There are no real losses, only new opportunities. If Sega comes down and says, "We don't want you to do things this way," I have to think around it, and it creates new and interesting characters. Case in point, Eclipse, who came out of the Shadowfall story. He wasn't there originally. We had other plans. Sega said, "We would prefer you not to do it that way."
Yeah.
So I had to think around it, and lo and behold, we came up with Eclipse, which we really worked hard on Eclipse, because the alien clone brother of Shadow is like every red flag in fan fiction. If we did him wrong in any way, it would have been really bad. But I think all that effort we put into it paid off, and now a lot of people really like it. So
yeah, he's great. Like especially after reading all the way through the trilogy.
Yeah, I mean that was what I really wanted with that trilogy, was to introduce this character and really flesh him out so that you understand where he's going. He's still a villain. Yeah, he's utterly a monster. He would kill everyone and everything, but it's to feed his babies. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
And single dad, family of 4. I mean, you gotta eat a continent or two. I don't write the rules, man. It's the economy.
Yeah, to do some plugs here, you'll see next to me here, this is the Hero Cats book. If anybody's interested in, some all ages books, something that adults and children can both enjoy and read together, and they can both get a lot out of. Hero Cats is a great book. Marcus Williams is a fantastic artist, and this is my cartoonier take on the Hero Cats team right here. And what I primarily do is the Galaxy Man and Cosmic Girl backup stories that are featured in the first 4 issues of Galaxy or Hero Cats. It's a bi-monthly book that's published by Action Lab. You can find it online, or you can go to your local comic shop and order it there too. Hero Cats, I recommend that. And hopefully, I've already written and penciled the first issue of Galaxy Man and Cosmic Girl. Justin found the colorist that we're trying to get on with. So hopefully that'll be out, soon before the end of the year. We're hoping. And I've got several other scripts outlined. So yeah. Definitely pick up Hero Cats. Keep your eye out for Galaxy Man in the future. Go out and if you want to find on Amazon, Riding Shotgun graphic novels that I did for Tokyo Pop was volumes 1 and 2 that you can find for cheap used on Amazon or wherever. Hopefully someday we'll do a volume 3. I'm going to try to eventually get to that. People become interested in it, let me know on. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I just set up a Tumblr thing yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, yeah, definitely you can find me. Just look up Tracy Yardley online. It's not hard to find me on Facebook or wherever. Yardley Art is one of the title of the things, so I go buy all those things. So yeah, check me out, friend me, follow what I'm doing, and hopefully some more cool stuff will be coming up in the future.
Thank you so much.